I'm going to bring up the first half of Turnip Stone. Turnip Stone. That's the podcast we're recording tonight. You guys excited for the first comic? You guys please bring up. We're introducing Mr. Steve Rains, everybody. This is him. Look at him. Hey, Stevie. All right, take a seat. Oh, sick.
How about it for Josh, everybody?
Oh, you're too nice. You're too nice. Get comfortable. All right, yep, change it up a little bit. Sweet, let him get seated. We'll bring up the second half, guys. One more time for Steve Rains, everybody. It's Steve Rains. All right, people. All right, guys, I'm going to bring up the second half, and I'm going to get out of here. My name is Josh Thomas. Thank you guys so much for coming out, guys. Thank you for letting me warm me up a little bit. And I'm excited to bring up the second guy. This guy, he performs all over the city. Really funny guy. One of the nicest guys I've met in the scene. Please give it up for Mr. Eric Emerson, everybody.
How about it?
Hell yeah. All right, guys, have fun. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye.
Hey, give it up for Josh, everybody. How about that? There we go. Getting us started. And one time for Colin on the ones and twos over there, the sound guy. This is exciting. Are you excited, Steve?
I'm very excited. This is my second cup of coffee.
There we go.
Anyone else getting wired tonight?
Yes? It's just Steve and then Steve in 30 years. Everybody else has got... who's boozing? Who's not... There we go. It's all my friends from college. There we go. The whole brochure. We're all in the front, but this time with the tall boys. That's awesome. So you guys, do you guys know what kind of podcast this is? No. It's a comedy advice podcast.
You mean you guys haven't heard of the podcast?
You guys have never heard?
The sensation that's sweeping the Avondale neighborhood?
Are you guys honestly telling me this isn't our exactly 39 Instagram followers in here right now? That would be a bummer. I thought all the homies came out to support.
Our parents had a meeting and paid every one of these people to come out.
That's exactly. I knew I recognized everybody from the middle school bus. That's where my parents send them all out here to help. So so what the podcast will be is Steve and I we have questions people submitted online. We take questions from the audience. We try and come up with like advice, but we're also not smart. So legally, the disclaimer here is don't hold us accountable for whatever we tell you to do.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I didn't even think about that. Someone really take the advice and then just go rollerblade into traffic or something.
Yeah, I feel like if we were like, if you don't know how to be an electrician, just get a fork in there and wiggle it around, and then next thing you know, we're being sued or whatever. So that'll be good. And Colin's got the questions over there, and we'll open it up to you. We'll probably do one question like that somebody submitted first, and then we'll see if anybody else has questions. This is also, and I want everybody to get loud for this, this is the debut live episode.
Thank you for coming out, everybody.
All of the other episodes have been done in my apartment on a futon. And so we have to figure out how to translate. I can already say it's very hard to figure out how to describe this podcast. Like the elevator pitch for this sucks. To be like, it's an advice podcast. Because here's the thing, I kept telling people it's a comedic advice podcast. And then comics were like, I don't want to ask you how to be funny. That's not what, they thought it was advice about comedy. So then we had to start saying it's an advice podcast hosted by, so we're trying to make sure it's clear. If there's anybody here who's in marketing.
Are there any questions before so far?
If anybody can come up with like a succinct tagline, the amount of like, I was handing out flyers and posting, taping stuff up, and the amount of bartenders that just frowned at me while I tried to like stumble through so it's an advice podcast, but it's funny. It's not like real advice, because we're comedians. And then he'd be like, yeah, if you want to put a flyer up, you can. And I'd be like, no, you don't get it. It's because getting good advice from a comedian is like trying to get blood from a stone or juice from a turnip. That's where the name's from. And then he would be like, there we go, right? That disappointed, that's exactly what a bartender does. This was the most embarrassing one. There's a bar, like an Australian bar in my neighborhood I was trying to put a flyer up at. There was the coolest bartender ever. It's like if the whole couch became one bartender. He was like 6'8", all skateboard equipment, you know what I mean? Like all black, tight jeans. And he was Australian. And I was like, can I put the flyer up? And he looked at it. And so as soon as he looked at it, I got very nervous and tried to do the explanation I just tried to do for you guys. And he goes, I'll see no reason why not. And then I was like, thank you, sir. And then I took the flyer over.
He takes a stapler and he's just like, you can use this, mate. Boomerangs it back.
I could not get the tape started for 5.5 minutes at the front of the bar while just cool Australian guys got hammered. And I was like... And then I finally did. I turned around to say thank you, and everyone ignored me. So anyway, if you guys saw this advertised at Templestowe Pub in Albany Park, just know I suffered a lot to get that advertisement. But, nice. Anything you want to go over before we get started? You have a good day?
I had a great day. I'm feeling... I'm feeling good. No, actually, it's good to have some good coffee, to be honest, because I had a tragedy happen to me. This was... Wake up, 8 a.m. in the morning, stumble. I don't know if you guys have to stumble to the coffee maker before you do anything in the morning, or is that just me? I'm the only addicted. And I took the coffee pot out, and it nicked the counter, and I broke it. So I could have no caffeine. So I've been drinking Folgers Instant. Folgers Instant. I'm lucky to be alive right now.
That's going to kick us out. They're going to kick us out of the venue if you say Folgers one more time.
Folgers Instant.
This show brought to you guys by Instant Coffee. It's like, why even go to a shop? You can just have a cup of coffee at home. And so, oh God, they're throwing stuff at us.
It's so convenient.
Is there any good instant coffee, or is it all bad?
It's all bad.
It's all trash?
Here's what I feel like it's got to be give me cancer. I don't know what kind of magic is in that. First of all, anything that's called crystals, it's called coffee crystals.
Yeah.
What kind of alien technology am I downing?
It's alchemy that takes a liquid to a solid. That's like something ancient medieval scholars were trying to figure out. They were like, eye of newt, wing of bat, turn this coffee into...
Imagine, no, it's coffee, but you can put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
Be like, what are you talking about? You need to go to an insane asylum right now.
Folgers drove Steve insane this morning. That's wild. I've actually cut down on coffee a little bit because the acid. I've been doing cold brew is my new thing. Cold brew apparently has half the acid. Is that true? Can we verify? I don't know. You don't want to make a claim one way or the other? That's okay. Apparently it's better for my acid reflux that I'm very also embarrassed to have when I'm before 30. There we go, yes?
Yeah.
Bordering on GERD. Everyone leave while we discuss antacids.
What did you just call it? GERD?
GERD, gastrointestinal reflux disorder.
What did you call it? I thought you said you had shadow.
It's silent reflux. Is when you're not, like, you don't like, there's no burp or anything. It's just, you wake up and your throat's sore.
It's special ops acid reflux. It just sneaks up on you from the bushes.
I do. I have the Navy SEAL of old guy diseases too young. Let me tell you when a bad time to develop a disease that makes your throat constantly sore is. It was May of 2019. That was a bad time to just become the guy who's clearing his throat all the time. Because of coronavirus. All right, that's all right. Everyone thought I was a super spreader. You got it too?
I got it.
There we go.
Last week.
You just got COVID last week?
Still got it.
Oh, there we go. Good. Give him a kiss right there. Just smooch him right on the lips. Build a natural immunity. You want to go into the first question?
If you guys want a variant, it's.
You guys want a variant?
If anybody wants the newest variant. No, what do you say? You want to go into a question?
Go into a question, an example question before we dip into the lovely studio audience.
How about it?
All right, give it up for Colin reading the questions from the booth over there.
Colin is making it happen.
All right, guys, this is from Twitter. It says, I moved to a new apartment building and all my neighbors are really friendly and keep asking me to hang out all the time. I don't want to. I don't like having to talk to people when I come home. They're starting leaving gifts for me on my porch randomly. Why are these people so nice? Why do they want my friendship so bad? How can I get them to leave me alone without being rude?
Wow.
Now this is something I can relate. I hate a nosy neighbor.
You don't like it? I like knowing my neighbors like me.
You like to mingle with the neighbors?
I don't want to mingle, but I like knowing that they're not upset with me. Does that make sense? Yeah. I feel like we're approaching social anxiety from two vastly different angles. Where somebody's like, I don't want to interact with them at all, it scares me. And I'm like, no, I need them to interact with them so I know they're not mad at me. Yes? Yeah? What's advice? I don't know if there's advice. I feel like if you have friendly neighbors, you might have to I mean, there's definitely
What was
advice.
the tail end of that?
This is an advice podcast. There's no way there's not advice.
It was how can I get them to leave me alone without being rude?
How can I get them to leave me alone with that? See, I would say invest in a leaf blower. A gas, which is what I do. I got a gas leaf blower, and I daily blow the leaves into my neighbor's yard. Because they should just do the same and blow it into their neighbor's yard, and then on
issue is that
down
this
the
is
line.
an apartment building. It's not a house; it's an apartment building.
Even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
If you think that technique works good in a house,
Imagine it reverberating in a stairwell. And here's the key, though. You have to be very friendly while you're blowing the leaves. Because nobody wants to talk to you. They hate you. And then you got to be like, hey, Rick, how you doing?
and then naturally they'll just leave you alone because you're blowing.
It's something with the frequency in the leaf blower.
It's like what they have outside of like Walmart to prevent loitering. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Is that too much of a suburban?
It's like a squeal? Like a high-pitched squeal?
Yeah, outside of like Walmart in... See, I don't know why I'm referencing a Walmart in Boone, North Carolina. No one's ever been to. But to keep people from to keep mountain people from loitering in the Walmart.
They also put up trail cams in aisle 7 to make sure I'm watching them. I got a potential theft in aisle 7.
There's like a thing outside that just kind of goes like beep, beep.
It's probably like a high frequency only young people can hear.
Yes, I think college kids would go and be like, if you can hear it, you're still young or something.
Young enough to be annoying, but young enough to also be told to get the fuck out.
You're at the specific age where people don't like it when you're in front of a Walmart. I feel like once you get to Steve's age, you can hang out in front of a Walmart. Steve specifically looks like no one would ask questions if you were in front of a Walmart. They'd be like, he's getting ready to purchase another leaf blower.
Dude, I was just in a Walmart like last night, and I was like, man, this is nice. It's just got everything you want. Do you want to watch or you want eggs?
It's all there. If only our ancestors could see us now. They used to go watchmaker, then down the street to an egg thing.
I used to trash Walmart, but it's really getting into my blood. This is also sponsored by Walmart Incorporated.
It is. You're one of the few people. Steve is one of the few people pro Walmart, anti Folgers instant coffee. That does not. Everybody else.
I'm starting to get into the crystals, all right? The crystals are starting to talk to me, man. And the Folgers.
That would
I
be
like
funny.
it now.
If you were like dating a girl in college and she's like, "Are you into crystals?" and you're like, "Yes, but not the decaffeinated." It's got to wake me up. I don't know. I think if you're in an apartment, you might have to do one pleasant interaction, and then that'll get them to stop giving the gifts. I think right now it's almost like they're playing hard to get. And you're like, no, I don't want the pumpkin pie. Don't do this. Don't do that. I don't want to. But I feel like if you just do like, hey, thanks for the bundt cake or whatever, then it's almost like dating. As soon as you start coming on to them, they're like, oh, she's annoying. She just wants to talk in the hall. She's eating all the cake. Or he. I don't know who wrote it, but.
Now, what if they just don't? What if they accept one of the gifts and then don't acknowledge it? I feel like that would be. You think that would strain ties too much?
I think that's considered being rude, though. So that can't be an answer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That would be, well, I mean, it could be an answer if you want them to stop talking with you. It'd just be like, they're like, hey, we baked you a cake, and you just like silently take a slice right in a bare hand and just walk into your apartment quietly. They probably wouldn't bake you any more cakes after that, I have to imagine. Do they specify what the gifts are?
No, they just leave gifts on my porch. So this guy has a porch in an apartment building.
I guess if you're coming up like the outside
Maybe it's
deck.
like a balcony area. Yeah.
Balcony. That would be funny if it was like an enclosed balcony and your neighbors are like Spider-Man crawling up from the bottom and leaving a fresh baked. How do you guys interact with your neighbors? Are you guys friends with your neighbors? No? What's that?
My dog tries to bite them.
The dog tries to bite them? That's a good... Yeah, you can't really be well, that's one of two ways. If your dog is attacking the neighbors, you either really have to be apologetic or you have to really commit to being like antisocial, fully hated neighbor and just be like, yeah, get him!
I had a neighbor. I've had insane neighbors ever since I moved into the city. I've just always had insanity.
I will say in the rock, paper, scissors of neighbors, leaf blower beats dog. Because the dog won't approach a turned-on leaf blower.
That is funny.
I don't know what the third... You guys need to help me think of what the third thing... Definitely be like leaf blower beats dog, but dog beats... what?
Dog blowing leaves with a leaf blower. That's dumb.
You guys got one more if you want. This one's written in from one of our audience members today. You guys might be able to relate. I'm 32 and haven't achieved anything I wanted to in my career.
Shots fired from the sound booth over there.
Colin from the shadows.
Colin was just like, here's an advice. I'm 32 and I don't know how to answer the question about neighbors. How embarrassed should I be on a scale of 1 to 10 in front of all 39 of my Instagram followers?
Yes, this person's 32 and has not achieved anything that they want to in their career.
Well, as somebody who is 29 going on 30 who also hasn't achieved anything very much, well, I mean, should say we've now achieved debut recording of Turnip Stone live at Avondale Coffee Club.
Hey!
So I'm exactly 30 minutes from no longer being able to relate to this loser. Since we're about to take off. The limo's going to pull up out front. Steve and I are going to say, sayonara, suckers.
Quick, get the crystals. Let's go. We're out of here.
Snorting Folgers in the back of a limo on our way to L.A. Yeah, damn. I mean, it's tough. I'll tell you. I can relate. I'm older. Eventually, here's the thing. I would like to get to a point where me going home for Christmas is more about the gifts that I'm bringing than about the gifts that I'm receiving. That will be a big moment in my life.
Yeah, you know when the folks are worried about you when they start giving you like survival shit?
Yeah.
Like, here's a parka, it's good down to -20.
Yes.
Your dad just looks at you in the eye like, please make it.
Yeah, actually I have been gifted about 12 too many Cliff Bars for me to... I think my parents think I might be food insecure because they are giving me non-expirable goods. I'm about to drive back up from North Carolina, and they're like, if you make it through the mountains, these blueberries will still be good. You can bury them in the permafrost, and they'll make it through. That's tough.
Bury them on the dark side of the hill. Go, son, go!
If you hear a wolf climb a tree, if it's a bear, run. Opposite. Bears can climb the trees. I don't know. I feel like you just have to... They don't say what the career is?
No.
No?
They just say, haven't achieved... Achieved anything I wanted to in my career. So they're just not there yet.
I mean...
Maybe you just want the wrong stuff.
Steve's like, what if you want a leaf blower and instant coffee?
Did you know you can just blow leaves for a career?
They can't stop you. I've checked. My neighbors have tried. They legally can't stop me from blowing leaves. You can get all that at a Walmart. I would say this is, I don't know if this is particularly funny, but you just have to you have to be happy with the journey a little bit and trust that it's going to come. Because stand-up is what we generally do. That's what Steve and I are doing outside of our wildly successful advice podcast. Isn't it really funny that I'm kind of worried that I'll be known for the podcast and people will forget my stand-up? Isn't that kind of a hilarious fear to have? With 39 Instagram followers? And I'm like, buddy, I just hope they don't forget my roots, you know? I've been at every comedy club in this city, figuring out people are in from Wisconsin, Michigan. I've asked so many people who's fucking, who's dating. They're going to have to put my jersey up if they want to get... But yeah, you have to, because it's a slow, stand-up especially, it's a slow, lonely road. And there's not a lot to show for the first 10 years. You know, I can't really... If I could buy my parents a house and free drink tickets, you could call me Biggie Smalls, because they'd be rolling in it. But yeah, you have to... I think there's got to be like sort of a Buddhist level internal, like, the only way to get where I want to go is to keep going. And if I slow down, I'll never get there. Better late than never. Yes. Again, some of the advice is just advice.
You can take that home.
What do you say?
I was just rethinking my whole life while you were talking right there.
Well, actually, I talked to Steve about this because I got snippy because I got a buddy who's 22, and I was having a particularly bad day because most days are bad when
you're alive, most days suck ass.
And
until you're dead. There's 1 or 2 a month that fucking rule.
Yes, yeah.
But otherwise, they all suck.
Yeah. And the 22-year-old buddy, he hasn't come to realize that yet. And I was having a bad day, and he was like, "You're being too grumpy. Why don't you come play flag football with me and my friends?" And I was like, "I will have to respectfully decline, because the only thing worse than being alone when you're bummed out is trying to go do something when you're bummed out." I can't imagine being in like Horner Park on a cold day, just being like, "Yeah, I don't know, I might have to stop working at that club because and then there's like, oh, slipped right through my fingers, almost had it, and then he was like, "Buddy, once you start moving, as soon as you're chasing that ball around,
once your buddies are just grabbing at your wiener and
waist.
ball area to get a flag."
And I was like, "No, you're so young that you're still a dog who is distracted by moving brightly colored balls, who is too dumb to realize that even if you get a touchdown in flag football, shit is still kind of tough."
Does that apply to your career?
This is the time where we dive into advice from the audience for me.
Are there any psychologists in the
It's no. You should get out and exercise. You know what? I'm going to take my 22-year-old buddy's advice on this one. Whoever wrote that in, go get a little exercise. That'll cheer you up.
Yeah, I don't know what I would say. I would say just make sure it's what you want to do.
Yes.
As a career.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not like. Sometimes there's a reason.
Yeah. If you
got it's like, I guess I really don't give it. And then like a year later, you do something else. You're like, I fucking didn't like that.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Check in, make sure it's what you want, or if it's still what you want, but you're getting like jaded and angry about it, you might have to do something to refine the love, figure out where the passion went.
Yeah. Start making up stuff about your coworkers.
Become a real gossipy bitch around the water
No
cooler.
quicker way to ignite the passion at the workplace.
Yeah, maybe we should give more Machiavellian advice and say, accuse your boss of embezzling money.
Spin the yarn as you will. You control your destiny.
Yeah, play God with the fates of your coworkers. Go around the water cooler and be like, "Did you hear Jeff? He's management. He's dating Susan, and that's illegal."
You guys ready for another one?
And then, wait, hold on. I want this scenario to play out. And then Susan goes and, she's like, "I'm not seeing Jeff." And you go, "That's not what I heard." And then you go, "Don't hear it from me. I heard that from somebody." And what you do is you slowly weave this deceitful web throughout the entire 7th floor of your West Loop renovated warehouse startup building that you work out until you're the spider in the center. And now, as you please, you go, "Yeah, as soon as the right person says it, you go, "Yeah, I don't know. I think Bill from accounting is just," you want his job. You say, "Yeah, I don't know. I heard Susan say from Jeff, and they're sleeping together, so this is legit that he stole some money. He gets canned. You take his job." Boom. Yes. And now the only person you answer to is Satan. Now you have to hope the career was worth it, because you will unfortunately be doomed to eternal damnation. But think about that extra $12K a month.
We all make sacrifices.
We all make sacrifices. Some people, it's putting in 2 more years than you wanted to in a low-paying position at your job, and for some people, it's selling your soul to the devil to become the Wolf of Wall Street of downtown Chicago. All right, yeah. Should we dip into the crowd, or do you want to do another one from over here first?
Anybody in the crowd have a question?
Does anybody have a question they want to ask, having seen the masterful advice we've crafted so far? We have plenty in a bucket, so we can keep going from the bucket.
How do I start a successful comedy advice podcast?
First of all, you kick out all the people who mock you. Security! Take her away. I don't know. I mean, look, this was mostly. I really did not think we were going to fill the room up. This turned out okay.
Yeah, thanks to you guys.
Yes, give it up to you guys for coming. How did? Can I ask who here heard of where did people hear about the podcast from? Everyone who's like, you guys come to the coffee shop? All right, so my advice would be just find the place that already has kind of a loyal customer fan base.
A nice staff with the built-in.
Make an Instagram, but don't worry about it too much. If it's only got 39 followers, become a parasite on a local business and just suck high-quality coffee out of them like a tick. And say, please tell everybody to come in. Yeah, that's my advice, would be find a nice, willing local business to host your podcast. Also one with a groovy 70s atmosphere, which is beautiful. I'm very excited. This is on film, so this will all look very, I don't know, 70s. I was going to say Playboy, but this might be the most asexual I've ever felt, so. I'm in tight jeans with no bulge, so we it's laundry day. You got anything to say about building a podcast?
I would say just Google it.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when people give you that advice, when you ask them for advice and they're just like, did you try Googling it?
Try Googling it. You're like, you think I came, that's hilarious. You think I came to you before I came to an omnipotent, godlike search engine. Yes, I Googled it.
But every once in a while I have to be like, no, I have not Googled it.
No, I haven't Googled it.
You're right, I probably should Google it before I bring this up.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, my advice, score yourself a high-quality co-host. Like Steve Rains.
Wow. We got any more questions?
Yeah, you got a pretty easy one for you guys here. Question is, why am I the only normal person in the world? Pretty straightforward.
Why am I the only normal? This got esoteric quicker than I expected. I thought this was going to be a lot of like, going home for Thanksgiving gives me the hives. I get stressed.
We got another question here. Who am I?
We have a question here. I didn't ask to be born. Ah!
Why are we all here?
You guys want a mulligan?
Why am I the only? Everyone thinks you're the only. Here's what this is. If you feel like you're the only normal person, just remember, until you hit 30 or 35, you're going to be cycling through personalities like a madman. So you might think you're the only normal person now. I don't know who wrote that. I don't know if they're here. But if they are under, I'm going to say if they're under 30 or 35, you aren't even you yet. So bear that in mind. You will become a totally different person. You will actually probably denounce who you were when you wrote that question. I learned that. I don't know if you're the same way, but I tried being about 7 people before we landed this. The problem is once you realize that it never stops, it becomes very destabilizing because now I'm not even sure I trust who I am now.
Great advice.
We should ban all questions that are in the second person. All the yous and I's, whatever. Are you final form, Steve? This is the last Pokemon
Yeah, this
evolution?
is it. I'm wearing almost head-to-toe Wrangler right now. I don't think I bought one thing on my body.
It's all Christmas presents, birthday presents. I got a leaf blower that's louder than the son of a bitch. I'm doing good.
Dazed out in a Walmart, just throwing stuff in a cart. I think I bought these socks on vacation.
Yeah, I got a few socks I bought first day in New York City because I was like, I got to just have clean socks every day.
I like doing my household shopping out of town. My day-to-day stuff.
I'll tell you, the CVS in New York City has the best socks.
There's just something about the underwear in Milwaukee. It's just, I go up there for my Hanes. I think it's from a different spool or something. It's just softer, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that town's got history. Yeah, that's a wild one. You guys have advice?
Yeah, why am I
If
the
you
only
think
normal?
you're the only, does anybody here think they're the only normal person? Do you guys ever feel like that?
That's kind of a crazy thought. Like, I am the only normal person. That's a bold statement.
Yeah, it's kind of an abnormal thought.
I mean, what is normal?
We should give horrible advice. Like, why am I the only normal person? It's like, because you're the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. Buy a compound in the Nevada desert, invite your true followers, start stockpiling weapons. Pick a fight with the ATF.
Get a solar system.
Yeah, you're not the only normal person. Probably. It just feels that way.
What was the second part of it? It said, why am I the only normal person?
Yeah, that was it. Why am I the only normal person in the world?
No need. I like that he wrote that. He's like, no need to clarify. I think this gets my point across just fine. That's an interesting question. That'll keep me up. Yeah, let's do another one.
All right, this one could be interesting. I'm in love with my childhood best friend, but he has a girlfriend.
No question.
Just let you know. I also ate ice cream for dinner yesterday.
I'm about halfway through Ozark, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it.
Just keeping Turnip Stone up to date.
It's sunny, but not too hot today.
I chipped a plate, but not too bad. I think I'm going to keep it. We should we should just not be an advice podcast. We should be a place where everyone knows. We should just be a live social media where people can just write their tweets and we read them live on the show. It'll be a segment. Yes, yeah. We just let people know how to do it. That's tough. I'll tell you. Probably the nickel for every childhood friend I fell in love with. I have like 7 nickels, but it's still a lot. Doesn't add up. I think we lost the sound. Can we cut it out? Sure.
Is it on the speaker?
We overloaded it with laughs. This will be fun. Anybody here can anybody do custom art for like a technical difficulty sign? Give it up for Colin on the one and two. Also, one way to find out that the microphones were a complete charade. You could totally hear us. Are we coming through? Check 1, 2. Yeah. God damn it! This person's waiting. They're in love. My mic said I can't even tell them how to get the one that they love. Show up at an airport before they take off to go somewhere.
Yeah, they didn't even say what should I do.
Yeah, I think it's implied.
We're back? Yes, give it up for Colin. There we go. Colin. Do we need to tap the camera over there, Colin? Do we need to restart? Okay, awesome. Figure we get all the technical stuff out in one go. Is anybody here, is anybody with their childhood best friend to this day? No, real, bro.
She's making a crazy face.
Did you try getting with your college? Or no?
Well, you mean like in a relationship?
Yeah, I was wondering. I feel like that's a classic trope. We got real quiet, sad puppy dog looks from the Dead Poet Society over here. I was like, no, I didn't wind up with the one. Just out here doing the best I can, which is all you can do. I don't know. Here's another thing. Going back, actually, we could tie this into the every normal person thing from before. You might just think that you're in love with your childhood best friend because they're your childhood best friend. You've watched a bunch of movies. You're projecting a lot onto them. I'm saying this in the mirror right now to myself. She's not the one that got away. She's just somebody. You hear me? I don't know. I feel like there's not much you can do because if you want to stay friends, it would be rude of you to interrupt what's going on in her or their. I guess it's the girls talking about a boy in their life. You got to play the long game. Again, you could play this a lot like the job situation from before. You could just start hanging out. And again, I don't recommend this. But if you were totally dedicated, if the only thing that mattered in your life, if you were the psychopath who thought they were the only normal person in the world, and you wanted to, I feel like that might have been written by one of the staff. I'm feeling bad about it. Dogging on that. You could pull the strings of fate and say, talk to the girlfriend and be like, yeah, I don't know, he just liked this account on Instagram. That's crazy. I mean, it's just social media, so if I was with him, I wouldn't freak out about it, but I don't know. Keep an eye on it. I'm turning myself on a little bit thinking about this.
And then you'd also listen to Satan after that.
Yes, The problem is the childhood best friend better be worth it, because you're going straight to hell after you live this lie for... How many marriages do you think are based on that in the country?
What? Based on what?
1% of marriages, do you think, are based on, the guy wanted to get with the girl or vice versa, and they pulled some sneaky shit, broke them up, and then happened to be the shoulder they could cry on?
30%?
Yeah, people are terrible.
People are bad.
Machiavellian relationship tactics.
He's like, it's like 30%. It's almost like I'm the only normal person in the world. Everyone out here is just stabbing each other in the back.
I mean, what do you do? They're your best friend. And they're in a relationship.
Man, I wish. See, this is why I like I wish that person was here so I could ask. What? Oh my God! Give it up for her, everybody! Holy cow! Colin, it turns out you got no chance with her after the show. She's in love with her childhood best friend. So. All right, can I ask some questions about it? Is it appropriate?
Of course.
Yes. How long have they been in a relationship? Is it a long term?
Like 2 years.
2-year relationship. Bordering on serious. Is it a healthy relationship?
We don't talk anymore.
Gotcha. It's love from
You gotta
afar.
break the ice. You gotta re-break the ice. Kind of like
You gotta re-break the ice
kind of
after.
like when you go ice fishing in very cold climates.
How long has it been since you've talked?
Like 2 years.
Since exactly when they... Okay. Oh, man. Now, did you stop talking to him when you started dating, or did he ice you out when he started dating?
We hooked up before.
Gotcha.
This is like a therapy session.
It's okay.
And then I moved to Chicago.
Gotcha. How far away is he?
Alabama.
Damn.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
That's a very good point.
Our whole families are childhood best friends. And
Yeah.
so my sister's baby shower is at his house. It's a lot.
It is a lot. That's a lot going on. This is like a Spanish soap opera. There's a lot of moving pieces going there for the baby shower. Let's think. Have you tried dating in Chicago at all? You're like, I can only make out with so many guys in mustard-stained wife beaters before I really miss the Alabama lovin'. That makes sense. Do you follow him on social medias and stuff?
Yes.
That's tough.
Here's what I say. I say unfollow, follow back. In like
Holy
a
shit.
24-hour
That's
period.
re-breaking the ice.
Yes, that's breaking the ice.
So back to my ice fishing analogy. In very cold climate, you got to cut a hole in the ice. You go to sleep, you had a couple too many brewskis, you come back, there's a thin layer of ice formed.
Yeah.
But the hole's still there. They hooked up. They already drilled the hole in the ice.
He did already drill a hole through the ice.
So she just needs to unfollow him on Instagram, follow him back.
Damn.
She pops up top of the list,
Yeah.
and we're ready to fish. There's bass under there, and it's winter. And you're in.
That's some real outdoor aisle in Walmart advice.
I mean, go down to aisle 10, get a lure.
That's if you do that, that's somewhere in between going full Satan and playing it way cool. That's a pretty ambivalent middle ground. Because then if he hits you with the accept, follow, or whatever, then you're like, he's acknowledging or whatever. Tough. Let's think. This is a moral conundrum because I know I want things to work out for you.
Thank you.
As a loyal Turnip and Stone, what
But
if
do I think you should poison his significant other? You're really going Mr. Burns over there in that chair.
It turns out they can't detect rat poison until 24 hours
Just
later.
go full Dr. Evil in that chair, dude. You're just growing into it.
How about you snip a gas line in his apartment while he's out of town? And then, you could, I mean, like, one thing, you can always do the Hail Mary. If it's a big deal, I feel like you can't live the rest of your life. If you make up the mind that you're like, I'm letting this go and I'm moving on, then I say even unfollow, don't follow back, or restrict on social media. So if he wants to send you a message later on, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, he can. But just so he's not popping up in the feed torturing you. But if it's something, if you like, can't sleep at night, then you have to eventually just be like, that one time at ice fishing camp. Is there anything there? And then, because then, it's like it's a Hail Mary. It's a more than likely a no, but then at least your slate's cleaned. And you can just be like, I'm not carrying that weight around anymore. I tried. He said no. One awkward baby shower and I'm out. But I don't know. It's been, did you ever have anything like that with a high school ex or whatever? I used to come back and see a high school ex that I thought was the one, but then I think you realize that, especially if they were like somebody that you hooked up with like pre-college, like a lot of that like high school puppy dog love energy is like still connected to them, even if they can't really fulfill that anymore.
But this is beyond high school, right? This is childhood, right?
Well, we had been friends since we were 12.
12.
Our parents work together still.
Damn.
And our sisters are best friends.
I totally take back the Hail Mary. Pull the ripcord on that. I know.
Why not make it your shower?
Yeah. I would say, in that case, deep breath.
Deep breath.
Move on.
You try exercising twice a day, maybe take a multivitamin.
Yeah, really try and romanticize the sadness. Go stand out by the lake in a snowstorm. Smoke a cigarette on a first floor, like on a balcony, and just sort of frown at people walking by. Really get into the, kind of start the journey into becoming a Disney villain later, a Cruella de Vil sort. I feel like, you might have to go out of sight, out of mind, just try and avoid, see if you can find another guy.
I tried.
It's tough.
Is it Hinge dating?
Yeah, Hinge blows.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, Hinge is the LinkedIn of pussy. I could not figure that out. I made it like 3 questions into the interview portion of Hinge, and I was like, I don't know how to crust a steak. I'm going back to Tinder like the slut I am.
What is the difference? What's the big...
Hinge is like a classier thing. You have to like... It's got all these like questions where it'll be like, are you more of a dog person or a cat person? And then the people can... Am I correct about that? Yeah. What do you like about him? That's a question. What makes you... Is it all memories? That's what we got to figure out. Is it all memories, or are you still like... You just log on to Instagram and he's like, these cats are up for adoption, but I'm giving them a home until they find he's like a good guy.
I mean, I think he's a good guy, but also it's probably a lot of memories.
Yeah. There we go. My advice would be 10% off Beer Temple with a valid Turnip and Stone ticket. Yeah, it is. You might have to wait it out for a little bit, because you can always. He's not going anywhere. If they break up later, then you can always be like, you can circle. But until then, it might just be best to.
He's in Alabama and I'm in Chicago, so like.
Yeah. That's a lot of distance. You know what I mean? Like, if you were with him, I'm sure you'd. Not sure, but you know what I mean? It's like, it might be a lot of, it's like, well, he leaves the toilet seat up. And
That's true.
When he's all the way in Alabama, it's very easy to project and be like, he loves me, he just doesn't know it yet. He's out chopping firewood, he's jacked, he takes care of the kids, he makes $1 million, his shoes are never muddy. But in reality, he's just like any other dude, and you know what I mean? Not just like, but you know what I mean? Yeah. So you might have to just go out and see that there's other good men in the world. Not in this room specifically. I assume. Steve, you got anything to say? I'm really I'm really also projecting.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Yes,
I think is
there
what
we
you're
go.
saying. Something that's just that.
Did you just come up with that
saying
right
just
now?
kind of came to me. Sometimes it happens.
It's almost like you can always imagine a better situation than one you currently have. Somebody write that down if you haven't done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might be a good. Just remember, he's far away.
Yeah, because I mean, are you plan on staying in Chicago?
Yeah, I'm in school. So.
So do you think you'll move back down there after school? No. Do you think
you're free. You just don't know it yet.
Will he stay down there? You think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Give it up for that, everybody.
How about it?
It turns out the advice was inside of her all along. And the advice was to just always remain about 800 miles away. It'll really take the edge off. That's good. All right, Colin, you want to hit us with another one?
Yeah, this is a interesting combo question. It's from two different people, but they are related. You'll know what I mean when I read it. First part is, my husband is a stay-at-home dad. In a few years, my kids will go to college. How do I get my husband to start working when they leave home? That's the first question. Second question is, I'm a stay-at-home dad. My boys will be off to college in a couple of years. How do I get out of working when they leave the house?
All right, how quickly can you knock her up again? The only solution... The only solution is more kids. As Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going. It might be time to be like, oh, man, what? We're out of condoms? That's crazy. Well, I mean, one time can't hurt.
You mean somebody broke into the house and put a pinhole through every one of my condoms?
Oh, God. That's a crazy double question. I don't know. I don't have...
Yeah, what was the first one was, how do I get my husband to work? And then the second one was, how do I not work, right?
Yes. Well, to the husband, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Did you just think of that?
Yeah, I just came up with that right now. That just came to me. It's almost like if you have a passion, then it doesn't feel like something that you're being forced to do. Somebody jot that down. Put that up with the grass is always greener one. Those are two gems we just came up with. Yeah, you might have to start. I would start probing now for potential passions. Because if you have a good job, and it's not really so much about the money, it's just that you need him out of the house a little bit. You don't want him to languish. It might be that you got to just be like, what do you like? You like model trains?
You think that's what his wife is going to ask him? You think she's going to mine his passion?
Well, I'm saying that if you can find him like a job, let's say he likes comic books and like the Bucket of Blood Records is hiring, you know what I mean? Then you're just like, oh, that's crazy. It looks like they're looking for somebody doing front desk or a Bucket of Blood Records and comics. You just kind of start floating the idea out there that it's like, yeah, it's like it would be nice if you worked, but it can be something cool. You don't have to go straight back into accounting or, I don't know, other bad things.
She's just going to psyop him into working.
Is Avondale Coffee Club hiring?
This guy?
What?
Maybe.
Yeah?
For photos.
Photos?
Yeah.
There we go. Have him be a photographer. That's a fun artsy passion, and it requires travel.
You know who's always hiring? Walmart. Walmart is always hiring.
Yeah,
You can greet. Be a greeter.
Be a greeter?
You think there's any... You think there's any, like, greeters that are like, this is my dream?
Probably. There's probably one guy out there who just loves greeting. And he greets. The problem is...
How'd you get into this? He's like, well, I've always been the most friendly guy around.
The problem is if you love greeting, you're definitely the most hated Walmart greeter by every patron. Because you're like chasing them down. You're like, hey, welcome to Walmart. Hey, have a good time. Discount on socks. And they're like, God, it's just cheating. It follows you around the parking lot.
But it's almost a two-part gig because it's greeting on the way in, it's receipts on the way out.
I didn't even consider that. I haven't been to a Walmart in nearly that long. That was just a fun little sidetrack because we don't know exactly what the best advice is. I feel like it's got to be find a fun job. Or you just have to be very upfront about it, talk about it now.
You can also spend that time that you're a stay-at-home dad and find something that you can do remotely, you can do at home too. So you can still be at work, but still be at home, but still working.
Yes.
The remote factor is a huge. That's a great call.
It's a game changer. Guys, welcome to Turnip Stone. We're going to talk about how remote work has really changed the face of modern day.
It's almost like you're actually working. It's so close. They pay you and everything.
Remote work really is the metaverse of working. It looks and feels like you're in an office, but then you just step away and all of a sudden you're in your own shitty kitchen.
She wants you to get a job. You really don't even need to get a job. You can be at your house.
At your house. Walmart greeting on Zoom.
That's a job that'll never go remote, friend.
It'll always be in person.
You always need a greeter.
No mask, 1 mask, 4 masks. There's going to be a greeter at Walmart. I would say, again, not all the advice is hilarious, but honesty is the best policy. I say hit them with a, I want to be able to retire. Let's find you a job, but I do love you, and I want it to be something that you're passionate about. I'll help you find it. I say also meet them halfway. I'll help you look for a job. I'll help you get your resume together. We can fuck again. The kids are almost gone. That's a plus. There's all these benefits coming your way. But let's get you signed up to join the workforce.
Yeah. Join the Coast Guard, I say, because it seems like people aren't signing up anymore. I mean, who's signing up for the Coast Guard still?
That would be, dude, if I left to go to college and then unannounced my dad joined the Coast Guard, that would be the funniest thing I could possibly imagine.
That's my advice. Google what's the cutoff for the Coast Guard, and then if you're in the window, sign up.
That's actually a great idea, because then also your wife will miss you while you're deployed at sea. And then they'll be like, actually, maybe I didn't even want, I miss him so much while he's gone serving our country.
That I want you to go full stay at home again forever.
Yes. And if you're willing to, again, pull the little spider webs of fate, if you join the Coast Guard, start stealing some of the cocaine you confiscate from drug dealers. And do it. And sell it. And then your wife will be like, wow, he's making a ton of money. I wonder what he's doing.
That's a good act. Get too successful. Get a sales job and start closing. Then just get a terrible addiction, spiral out. She's like, I gotta get you off the street.
That's the spiderweb version of this, is get a job that your wife will hate that you have, and then she'll want you to quit.
Yeah, that would be my advice for him.
Totally go Wolf of Wall Street, start showing up at 3 a.m. with a Margot Robbie type.
Just 18-hour shifts.
Yeah, you're on the penthouse floor of a downtown Chicago, by the river, Trump Tower, Quaaludes, prostitutes.
Yeah.
And then she'll be like, I was wrong, I didn't want him to work. But now you've got the bug. Now you love doing it. I don't know why. I keep trying to turn these into plots for movies. I think that's the move, depending on how you want to play it. Either be honest and upfront and continue to engage in a loving relationship, or crash a Bugatti into the... Those are the two options. Oh, yeah. All right, we got time for, I think, one more question. Does anybody, before we get one more read to us, does anybody in the audience want to volunteer a question, or should we do one more? Yes, there we go.
Okay, so my younger sister's in college, and she's doing bad at it, and my mom wants me to be like her counselor, like make her do better at school.
Yeah.
But she's resistant to that.
Yep.
So I don't know if I'll feel bad if she continues doing so bad that it can't be anymore.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I don't really, it's not my place.
That's
so
a, yeah.
What should I do?
That's
and
my.
I don't want my mom to be mad at me or my sister.
Yeah. That's a great. That's a fan. Give it up for both ladies volunteering the questions tonight. You guys were both. My girlfriend is in almost the exact same position.
What is she doing?
She is also asking me for advice. It's yes, yeah. she's asking me for so much advice that I was like, babe, I have to go start an advice podcast and bring this to the people. That's a great question because is it the youngest sibling?
Yeah.
My little brother was the same way.
Yeah.
My little brother, he struggled in his first go around with college and ended up dropping out.
I know it's not everyone's thing, but I'm like she's currently paying for it.
Yes, yeah. And they don't realize, they're also not like realizing that they're racking up like an eternity of debt.
Yeah.
That they're eventually going to have to, the guy from the previous question, they're going to have to find him when he's fully Wolf of Wall Street out.
Yeah.
Link up with him to pay
So
for
your
it.
sister's paying for it?
Well, no, not really, probably. I'm not 100% sure what the deal is, but I think it's probably my mom given the vested interest as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's why she's sending an agent out to do. She's like, make sure she crosses the finish line here.
Probably a mix of the two.
Yeah, you got to play both sides of the field a little bit because you want your, like,
Yeah, you got to go double agent on this one, I think.
the problem is that families have been together so long, they communicate like they're still children. You know what I mean? Like they're still playing the role. She's still the little, she's in college now. She's like a borderline adult woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when your mom tells her you have to study, it's instantly mentally back to like, I'm 8, she's trying to make me clean up my room. No. I was the same way as a kid. I think everybody like reverts. So it's hard. I deal because I'm playing all the sides of my girlfriend's family where it's like, well, we're just worried about her. She's in school, and then they call her and they're like, well, are you doing good? How's it going? Are you studying? You shouldn't be out. You should be studying. And you can just hear her like hanging up the phone slowly.
Yeah.
Steve, vamp for me while I mull this over. The good news is, if I figure this out now, when I go home, I will wow my girlfriend. And I'll be like, babe, we came up with an answer. I think,
The baked goods at Walmart is another overlooked item. Then, like, at first I would have trashed normally, but now I'm kind of into them.
Where's your sister going to school, and what's she studying?
Community college in Urbana-Champaign.
There you go.
And teaching, probably.
There
I
you
told
go.
her to switch her major to teaching, and she's like, I don't want to teach.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Talk to her. Have a sister thing where you're like, what do you like what you're studying?
No, you don't
How
know.
many years in is she?
2. Well, now around 1.5. She's
Gotcha.
what some would call sophomore.
She's almost got the gen eds knocked out.
Yeah.
I'd be like, just get something fucking easy. Go in there, get a comm degree, get a business degree. Does she want to drop out?
She loves working at the bar in her college town, so no, she really wants to stay there.
See, that's one thing you can do is you can sell it. Be like, mom wants you to be in college so bad that if you keep doing good, she'll keep paying for it. And you can keep bartending.
She's like aware of that, but can't connect that to like doing good in the classes.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
terrified.
studying sucks.
She's terrified of having to go home, but not terrified enough to like do really good at school.
Yeah. I mean, you have the enviable position. I mean, it sucks because you're the go-between, but you can also be like, you would not believe what mom said about, and then you just kind of, you're like, it's tough, but what are you going to do? The old lady wants you to hit the books.
Yeah.
And then when you talk to your mom, you're like, this girl, she just wants to party. She's just having a good time. But I talk to her.
It just seems like there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but my mom, every time she calls me, is like, we've been talking to Kara about her grades. Name dropped. But
It's okay. It's okay. Right now, not a big deal. There are 39 Instagram followers.
But in 2 years,
In 2 years, she might go, but by then she'll have graduated as with all A's because of this expert advice we're about to lay down. Cut the cameras. Yeah, I think there's just you gotta find a way to break through the like sister, mom, sister dynamic and approach it like you're not, like she's listening right now. The people that she listens to are like her buddies in college and like the people that so you almost have to like, if there's something that she likes that your mom doesn't like, can she drink yet? How old is she?
yeah, she drinks.
She drinks, but she's not quite, she's a sophomore?
She's old enough.
Yeah, she's working at the bar. Yeah. But I mean, like, like show up with a joint or with a beer or something like that and be like,
I'll
look,
give her drugs.
yeah, be like, don't tell mom that but here's a doobie. And then, or just something that like separates you from the eternal pressure of the world. So you're not just another like angel of death checking in on the grades, but then check on the grades.
You want to be Mr. Feeney in the backyard, not in the classroom. You know what I'm talking about?
No, totally over my head.
You know Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World? Does anyone know who I'm talking about right now?
There we go. Everyone said yes, and everyone hung me out to dry on the.
I feel like Mr. Feeney in the backyard was like pull up a chair, smoke a doobie.
Yeah, you
like, I was a kid too.
Real, remember the '90s movies where the teacher would go in the inner city, and then at first they hated her, but then they'd give her like a do-rag, and she'd sit backward on the chair. What you got to do is go down and be like, I'd love to come visit you at school sometime, or when she comes home for Thanksgiving, be like, let's just go to get away from the fam. And then you just go in the gym, you flip that chair around backwards, you straddle it, you go, look, I know your parents are bugging you. They're giving you a hard time. I'm not like that. But I want you to stay in school and figure out what you want to do. And part of that is going to be learning about 1492 and the Revolutionary War, and,
For every A, I'll give you some ecstasy. I will give you one ecstasy for one A. We can make this an ecstasy for A's.
An ecstasy for A's. That's a charity that actually we sponsor here at Turnip Stone is Ecstasy for A's. When we find children and young adults in the inner city who are struggling, and we say, if you get an A, you get to do Molly.
Making a difference.
Yes, yeah. We're making a huge, some would say, overtly negative impact.
Well, we can't really say if it's good or bad, but it is a difference.
It is definitely a difference. That's hilarious. Yeah. I think you just gotta cut through the layers.
Tell Mom to pull slow.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been saying, and she's like not hearing it. So.
My nephew went to UIC. He was in his third year. Called me up. It was actually my wife's nephew. And he said, I got to tell my mom because she wants to come to school. He hadn't been going to school for 3 years. Oh. Business classes.
Holy
He wanted to cook. So he was saving up the money, and then he went to Europe cooking classes. Told Mom, I'm quitting school, and he went there with her money. So,
holy cow.
He really didn't want it.
Is he a chef?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Very good. He did. He had Addison and Walcott. He was over there. He was in Wicker Park. He was downtown.
Where is he now?
Now he does, after COVID, he does the personal dinners. He gets 30 people in a room. He rents a room, does all the dinners.
Holy cow. Yeah, next live podcast, we're going to have that success story in here. What a good, that's almost a movie. Like lying about going to college for 3 years, and then you go to, like, Brittany, France, and learn how to cook?
He went to Italy, and then he went to Ireland.
Holy cow. And then he went to Ireland to wrap up. He's like, I've mastered cooking, but what about the potato? I got to bake that for 6 hours. That's wild. Yeah, that's actually, it might just be that there's some disconnect that no one's tapped into. So
Well, that's what I've been telling Mom, and she won't do it. I'm going to do the ecstasy thing.
I'm pulling the ripcord on this bitch. She's not doing classes. We're going to get ripped together. It's going to be...
This is the UN approach. He's like, squeeze out their assets. He's like, cut them off financially.
Actually,
This is
if you want to, this might combine the two. Do Molly with your sister, and then while you guys are both fucking one with the universe, she'll be like, I never told anybody this, but I really want to be a glass sculptor. And then you go back to Mom, you're like, she has a passion, we just have to tap into it. And then you figure out what to do. Split the difference. Also, legally, Steve, look directly into the camera. Don't do drugs. We here at Turnip Stone stand opposed to all illicit substances.
Any substance, illicit or illicit, consumed after watching or during watching Turnip Stone is purely coincidental. Ecstasy was not referring to any sort of drug, but more of a state of existence. To be at in ecstasy.
Ecstasy is not a drug in the world of Turnip Stone. It's just the feeling you get when you walk into a fresh Walmart, 7 a.m. Those doors slide open and you go, this is ecstasy.
And the greeter's name is Molly.
Is it really? Oh.
But that's why you bring up Molly.
Oh, I thought you said the person who asked the question's name was Molly for a second, but then that would be, I don't know why I made that confused. It's because I'm on Molly right now. There we go. Well,
That's it.
So we laughed, we learned. Did you guys enjoy the first live episode of Turnip Stone?
Thank you for coming out. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It really does mean a lot that you guys came out. We're going to try and keep doing it here. Can we give it up for Avondale Coffee Club one time?
The best coffee in town.
When the next live episode happens, it will be here at Avondale Coffee Club. So please, if you guys had fun tonight, will you come back and see us again here? This was a good time. Thank you very much. My name's Eric Emerson. Give it up for Steve Raines. Have a great night.
How about for Colin? Good night.